All right, where are we? Target 1, 270, 1.1. I gotta come down from the last one. Whoops. All right, target 2.
I'm on.
I've got 175, 340, 1.7. Let's try that. All right. Target 3, 400, 2.3. Yeah, that win from earlier is gone. Target 4.
I'm on.
I've got 400, 2. No, that's the last one. All right, I've got 500, 3.6. We'll try holding this one. Nice.
Impact. Impact.
I'm going to put a little more recoil control into it.
Okay.
And see if I can keep it on. Ah, that's fun. All right.
Beautiful.
So when I was thinking about how to format this review, it got a little long-winded, so I'm going to try and give you the cliff notes up front, then you can stick around after if you want for details. But disclaimers, I probably got less than 1,000 rounds on this, so it's still early. I'm not a great gas gun shooter, and I'm probably a little biased for Ridgeline. I like what they do. I like to support local. That said, they don't know me. I don't know them. So, you know, it shouldn't be an issue. And the bottom line is, well, and I'm going to give it a caveat. Value is subjective, right? Like this is probably more valuable to me than it might be to somebody else because I'm, you know, local and I like Ridgeline, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to try and judge this objectively. Like, what does it actually deliver? And I don't think it delivers $3,300 of performance. So I would say don't buy the gun. You can probably do the same or better for less. You could spin a barrel you're choosing on into an LMT barrel nut and go full monolithic, right, for less money and have an ambi-lower. This is nice. It's a nice shooter. It really reduces or eliminates the thermal shifting. It reduces the point of impact shift to some degree, and it's fairly accurate, but it's really expensive. So, you know, if you're on the fence, I mean, if you're going to buy it, you're going to buy it. It probably doesn't matter what I say. But if you're on the fence, I'd say skip it. It's nice, but it's not $3,300 nice. If you must get into it, I would say buy the upper by itself. It's going to be like $1,800, cheaper to ship, and then you can get a full ambi lower and probably be better off with really no downside. So I'd suggest you do that. Nice rifle. Probably not worth the price. Thanks for watching. So if you're sticking around for the long haul, I'm going to give you a little disclaimer here as well. If you pre-order anything, it's your own fucking fault, okay? So if you're not happy with what you get when you pre-order, you got no one to blame but yourself. So if you hear me complaining about any of this, just recognize that I understand that it's my own fault. It's not really a complaint. It's more of just, you know, like, and this goes for anything, not just this. If you pre-order, you own the outcome of that. What little interaction I've had with Ridgeline over this has been phenomenal. Like truly the best customer service I've ever encountered. Extremely happy with that. The things I like about it, I love the BCG, I love the gas system. They've got this jam nut. It's very cool. I like the Voltor. I like the Geisley. It's well put together. Good fit and finish. Kind of. And but like in terms of it's just a good rifle, like everything on it's solid, which is what you'd expect. But I don't think you're looking for just good when you're paying that kind of money. The minor annoyances that aren't really related to my big issues with the gun would be the anodize. The anodize is like, I don't know who they contracted to do the anodize on it, but they did a fucking awful job. Like it comes right off. And when I was blasting it for Cerakote, I have never prepped a surface for Cerakote that was so weak as this one. Doesn't bother me, obviously, but you know. No QDs anywhere on it except for back here, which is kind of like, oh, it's 2024. What are we doing? Mine shipped with the wrong grip. They said it was going to come with a B5. Mine came with a Magpul MOA, which is just kind of like a, come on. A complaint I have that I guess is a little bigger is this ARCA section. Rudy talked about how they reduced it somewhat to make it more comfortable to hold. And I think Sun and Shadow said something about it too, but it measures the same as like every other ARCA section I have, and it's not comfortable at all. Like I don't know, maybe it's my little girl hands, but like carrying this around, it feels like shit. If you want a comfortable ARCA rail, this MPA, like MPA does their little subdued ARCA rail, this is how you do that. Like I don't understand, like huge missed opportunity, and maybe it wasn't possible, but this ain't it. This is not the answer. And then again, I talked about pre-ordering and kind of owning the results of that, but my biggest complaint and the biggest reason I can't recommend the rifle is this is a non-ambi lower, right? Like it's a very generic non-ambi lower, no QD cups back here, no ambi bolt release. It's 2024. Like, what are we doing? And okay, yeah, you buy a $50 poverty pony lower and it's not ambi. It's like, okay, this is $1,000 lower receiver. The upper's 1,800. If you negate the cost of your recoil stuff, your Geisley trigger, this is $1,000 non-ambi lower. And don't mention that on their Instagram because they'll dirty delete your comments. Like what is going on here that we couldn't, for $1,000 we couldn't afford to put ambi bolt release. And it may not be a big deal to most people, but I think the people who are buying this are mostly competitive shooters. And when you have your support hand up or on a rear tripod or whatever the case is, in these competitions, oftentimes you cannot run your bolt forward until you're on target. And so now you have to fuck all your shit up when every other modern AR made today fucking has full ambi. So I don't know. I don't know why are we paying $1,000 for a generic lower receiver? And I like that it fits well with the upper. But it's nice, but it's not $1,000 nice. So that's like my biggest complaint with the gun. And again, we knew when we ordered these that it wouldn't be the case, but we didn't know how much we were paying, right? Because we all bought the guns, and then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, the uppers are $1,800. And so you do the math, and now it's like, okay, great. Well, here we are. I don't know if it's a complaint so much as my concern, and the reason I can't recommend the upper alone necessarily is these screws. I went to the range a couple times. I shot it a handful of times, came back one day and noticed that these were loose. And I don't mean like finger tight, like I could pop them loose. They were like floating in here. And there's no thread engagement. So I think it was whatever Loctite material they used. It was literally just stuck in here. The threads weren't engaged at all. And then when I pulled it apart, they were like wet. And I think I have some footage of that. Maybe they had like a bad batch of whatever Loctite they used or whatever, and I'm like a one-off. But these things like are not in there. It's probably fine because even if you lose them, this rail fits so tightly to the upper that it's probably not going anywhere. But I don't know, makes me a little suspicious. Makes me worried about when they're gonna just disappear on me. So let's talk about accuracy. This is the 5-round proof target that shipped with the rifle. It's a 5-round .8, which to me is proof that this is not a sub MOA gun. 5-round groups. I mean, if you spend any time shooting precision rifles, you know that these don't get better; they get worse, right? The more rounds you shoot, and Brian lists as a table to kind of extrapolate. If you apply that to this, it's like a 1 1/4. So like in my opinion, they ship it with a target that says, there's about a 1 1/4. We didn't want to shoot extra bullets to get there to let you know. So we just shot a 0.5 or a 5, and we'll let you figure it out on your own. And sure enough, it shoots about 1 1/4 inches, which is pretty good for a gas gun, especially when you're talking 20-round groups. You know what I mean? 20 rounds, 1 1/4 is fucking solid. But I don't know if it's sub MOA. And the big disclaimer here is that I'm not a very good gas gun shooter, right? So the guys who are testing these are probably among the best in the world, and so they can probably squeeze more accuracy out of this. I don't know who shot this. But whoever they were, if they continued, they'd probably shoot a 1.25, right? If you do the math. So I don't know. Anytime you see someone claim sub MOA, take it with a grain of salt, right? Because to me, sub MOA is a rifle that can, in perfect conditions, shoot under an inch throughout the duration of a match, right? Because that's kind of where my head's at. That's what sub MOA means. So that's 100 rounds, right? So my buddies show me their bolt guns shooting .2s, .3s over 10 rounds. Okay, yeah, that's probably going to be sub MOA, and you can do the math and it works out. I don't have that level of expectation with something like this, and I don't think anybody should, but when they posted 50 rounds in an inch during the initial promo period of these, we all, like my friends and I all saw that picture and we're like, did they, unlock the secret Krabby Patty formula? And I don't know that they did. Very accurate guns, but I don't know that there's anything uniquely occurring here that you can't get elsewhere. So 50-50 on the sub MOA thing. I think it's, I don't know. The thermal shift, another big point, was the reduction of the thermal shift. That's where they knocked this out of the park. I have never seen an AR reduce thermal shift as much, or resist thermal shift as much as this does. Now, bear in mind, it's going to stay hot for a really long time because you got so much barrel and like meat up here. You dump 30 rounds and then like half an hour later, it's still hot to the touch. You're like, what the fuck's going on? But it does an amazing job. You don't have any of that like walking up the paper that I usually see. And then point of impact positional shift. I was really hoping. I mean, when I bought this on the premise of, let's see if this is a sub MOA AR that eliminates point impact shift, and it's not, right? And I think a lot of us gambled on that. It reduces it. I get about a 0.2 from loading the bipod to like kind of neutral recoil control. And again, I don't know. I'm not like a pro gas gun shooter. I don't know what the right way to do it is. And you have to bear in mind, because I think I have a clip of this somewhere, that I may be inducing something into the gun that isn't the flex here that we all think about that's causing that shift. But I get about a 0.2. Which is less than some of my other builds, which are usually like 0.4, but it doesn't eliminate it. So a little disappointing, but and again, it could be me. So I don't know. I like it. I'm probably going to keep it. I wasn't sure for a while, but I'm probably going to keep it. Yeah. It's nice, The more I shoot it, the more I like it. I've really grown to appreciate how reliable, like I don't want to say reliable, how consistent it is. Like every time I show up at the range, I don't have to adjust my zero. It's generally right where it was shooting last time. As it heats up, it stays. So I like it. I don't think there's anything, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but I don't know that there's anything truly unique going on here. I mean, there is objectively uniqueness, right? Like they engineered all this and it's like new. It is new. But in terms of the way it acts and the way it shoots, I don't know that it's unique. People talk about it being soft shooting or whatever. It's like, yeah, it's a heavy fucking gun that you slap a ton of shit on. Of course it's soft shooting. I don't think there's any magic going on. But in terms of the way it performs, it feels like a really quality AR. So if that's what you want, maybe this is what you need. But I don't know. More testing. If anything really major changes, I'll update you, and then put it. I'll answer any comments. I'm sorry if this hurt anybody's feelings, but it's a good gun. But $3,300, I'd probably spend 26 or 24, if if that was an option. That's probably where I'd price this at. So, yeah.